Okay, this is the last question, and perhaps the one requiring the most thought.
Uh-oh.
Is Eagle Mountain City doing enough to preserve open spaces and the wildlife corridor? And if not, what else can the city, and particularly the residents, do?
That is a tough question. I would start my answer with this. The answer to me is yes, currently we're doing enough. Will it be enough long term is the question I might ask. And the thought process that I have there is probably not. And so how do we make sure that what has been done to get us to this point is not lost or diluted as we move forward, but rather disseminated and maybe even more largely embraced and allowed for the larger community to come in and to help us facilitate this. And I think a big part of that is community awareness. I think it's also a commitment on behalf of our city to commit some financial resources to the education and to the preservation of these corridors. As far as I know, we're the only city in the state of Utah that has hired an environmental planner. Mr. Todd Black is on our staff now. That was a pretty bold move for the city council to appropriate funds to pay for a full-time city employee whose job and responsibility it is to manage our wildlife and wildlife interactions throughout the city, our wash preservation, the deer migration corridor, and habitat restoration, and just making sure that any planning that we're doing in the city is contemplated from that point of view. So I think that's a big, major first step. And I'm proud to have participated in that part of the process. And I'm grateful that the citizens of Eagle Mountain have been supportive of that, because they could easily come in and say, no, don't spend my tax dollars to do that. And that's not what we've heard. That's not what I've heard. And so I'm grateful for their support. I think the other thing is that the city has done a pretty good job, and I hope residents will see this in the Smith Ranch Park area. That park was contemplated as both a community park that's going to have some pretty amazing community assets in the ranches portion of the city. Basically, it's directly south of the Ridley's complex. But in conjunction with that, because the wash runs right through there was a lot of very thoughtful interaction and planning that took place to make sure that we were preserving that and utilizing that as an educational tool. So those kids that go to Pony Express Elementary School, they literally, those teachers can take those kids outside the back door, walk along some of these native paths that go along the wash with some of the informational placards that are going to be there, and learn about the natural environment that literally exists just outside their window. So I think those are the types of things that we need to do a better job of, probably as a city, and we're doing a good job. But I think those are the types of opportunities we need to capture maybe more frequently, and they need to become part of our public consciousness and thinking.
That's really good advice to people, I think, in terms of being aware and being involved, and I appreciate your comments very much. I want to tell you thank you for taking the time to come and sit to be interviewed by your neighbor.
Anytime you'd want to interview me, Mara, I'll be happy to sit down with you. Thank you for all that you do and all that the Alliance has done on behalf of the citizens of Eagle Mountain. I want to recognize publicly in this video the good work that the Alliance has done. I remember having many of these conversations with you early on, and I know some of the frustration, some of the hard work that it has taken to get here. And I just want you to know how much I very much appreciate your leadership and that of the members of your Alliance, each and every one who I know personally and respect. I'm just grateful for the work that each of you have done to contribute to this outcome, and look forward to bigger and better things in the future.
Thank you. We do too, and it all comes from the same place, the love for our community.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.